The grave of the iron vines, a botanical horror. The Madagascar man-eating tree. Deep within the unexplored red lands of Madagascar, there is a silence that feels heavy, not the peaceful quiet of nature, but the expectant hush of a predator. While most explorers feared the venomous snakes or the sharp limestone pinnacles of the Tsini, the indigenous Nkodo people whispered of a far more sedentary nightmare. They didn't run from it, they sacrificed to it. Imagine a tree that doesn't just provide shade, but actively hunts. A plant with the fingers of sweating green tendrils and a thirst for more than just rainwater. Today, on Mysteries from the Orb, we peel back the dense jungle canopy to investigate one of the most chilling botanical cryptids in history, the Madagascar man-eating tree. If you stumbled upon the man-eating tree, you might first mistake it for a giant, mutated agave or a thick-trunked pineapple plant, but on a gargantuan scale. The trunk, described as pear-shaped and standing roughly 8 feet tall. It is dark, almost black, and as hard as iron. The fronds, from the top of this trunk, long, leathery leaves, often described as thorns of steel, hang down toward the ground. The tendrils, here is where the plant becomes sentient. Surrounding the crown are dozens of delicate, hairy green tendrils, stretching out like the legs of a spider. They are sensitive to the slightest vibration. They lure. At the very center of the leaf crown sits a pool of clear, viscous liquid. To a thirsty traveler, it looks like honey or water. In reality, it is a highly potent narcotic, designed to paralyze the central nervous system of any creature that tastes it. The myth exploded into the Western consciousness in 1874. An explorer named Edmund Spencer published an account in the New York World, claiming to have witnessed a ritual sacrifice performed by the Nkodo tribe. While Spencer's account is the most famous, it wasn't the only one. Throughout the late 19th century, sailors returning from the Indian Ocean spoke of the Devil's Orchard in the Malagasy interior. Tracts of land where the ground was littered with the bleached white bones of lemurs, cattle, and, occasionally, skulls that looked disturbingly human. The locals called it the tip, and they treated it not as a plant, but as a hungry god. They believed the tree was a guardian of the underworld, and if it wasn't fed, it would stretch its roots beneath their village and pull their children into the earth. The most harrowing detail comes from Spencer's alleged expedition. He described being led to a clearing where a single, massive tree stood in a depression of sand. The slender, delicate puppy, with the fury of starved hyenas, quivered a moment over the victim's head, and then, as if instinct with demoniac intelligence, fastened upon her in sudden coils round and round her neck and arms. Then, as her awful screams rose into the air, the great leaf slowly rose and stiffened, then closed together with the force of a hydraulic press. Spencer claimed the tree stayed closed for 10 days. When the leaves finally unfurled and the fingers relaxed, nothing remained but a pile of white bones at the foot of the trunk. The tree, once dark and dull, was now a vibrant, pulsing green, sated by the life force it had just consumed. The second encounter, the grave of the iron vines. While the Spencer account is the most theatrical, a much more grounded, and perhaps more terrifying, report came in 1924 from a French surveyor named Captain Jean-Luc Leclerc. Leclerc was tasking with mapping the dense limestone plateaus of the Ankorona Reserve. Unlike Spencer, Leclerc wasn't looking for a monster, he was looking for a route for a road. According to his journals, his team followed a scent of rotten lilies and copper into a narrow canyon that the local guides refused to enter. The discovery. In the center of this canyon, the team found a tree that matched the Nkodo descriptions perfectly, but it wasn't standing alone. It was surrounded by a literal carpet of skeletal remains. Leclerc noted that the bones weren't just scattered, they were threaded. The roots of the tree had grown through the ribcages and skulls of forest hogs and lemurs, anchoring the remains to the base of the trunk like a macabre collection of trophies. The strike. The encounter turned deadly when a young potter, intrigued by the shimmering liquid at the center of the tree's crown, reached in with a long bamboo pole to collect a sample. The reaction was instantaneous. The tree didn't just move, it flinched. The vibration of the pole against the inner rim triggered the long, thorn-lined fronds. They didn't snap shut like a trap, they moved with a slow, grinding inevitability. The potter's sleeve became snagged on one of the hook thorns. As he pulled away, the fingers, the delicate green tendrils, began to wrap around his wrist. Leclerc described the movement as the way a squid's tentacle searches for a grip. The escape. The team managed to hack the potter free with machetes, but Leclerc reported something that haunts researchers to this day: the veins bled. Not sap, but a thick, dark fluid that smelled like old meat. As they fled the canyon, they looked back to see the tree's leaves vibrating with a low, subaudible hum, as if the plant were frustrated. The potter's arm, where the tendrils had touched him, broke out in black, necrotic welts within hours, suggesting the plant used a powerful digestive acid even before the meal was fully consumed. Leclerc's map of the canyon was lost during the French colonial retreat, leaving the grave of the iron vines hidden somewhere in the jagged labyrinth of the Ancorana. Is it possible for a plant to consume a human? The carpet plant theory. Some botanists suggest the legend stems from the Drosera sundew family. In Madagascar, some species grow significantly larger than their counterparts. While they couldn't eat a person, a large enough field of them could trap an injured animal. The hoax theory. In the 1950s, researchers tracked down the origins of the Spencer letter and found it was likely a work of traveler's fiction, a popular genre at the time meant to sell newspapers. The lost species. Madagascar has lost 90% of its original forest. Some cryptozoologists argue that as the giant lemurs and elephant birds went extinct, the predatory plants that fed on them also vanished, leaving only the terrifying memories of the tribes who once lived alongside them. Whether the man-eating tree was a literal monster or a metaphor for the unforgiving wildness of the Madagascar jungle, it remains one of the most haunting images in the world of the unknown. It reminds us that in the dark corners of our planet, the line between the hunter and the static scenery isn't always clear. Next time you're hiking and feel a branch brush against your neck, pray it's just the wind, and not a hungry green finger reaching out from the shadows. Thanks for watching Mysteries from the Orb. If you have a lead on a botanical mystery, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a descent into the strange.